What's up, everybody? We are back for another episode of The Panel. And this week, as you can see, everybody is present. So first, welcome back, Steven.
What's going on?
And he would come back with a glass of wine.
Thank you. Thank you. Good work.
I kept your spot warm.
I saw that.
With the hair or the body?
My presence.
Because the hair is up today.
My presence is a present.
Kiss my ass. Anyway, on this week's episode, I think we are going to talk about a very timely and interesting topic. Relationships.
Dun dun dun.
Scary shit.
What did Brenda say in Scary Movie? Ooh, this is scary.
Not really, it's not.
So, yeah, we're going to dive into the topic of relationships, explore what that looks like for everyone sitting on the couches. I can't say couch because Donald's segmented just a little bit. But you get the point, right?
Seat for one. One and a half. I got some room if somebody wants to sit next to me.
Does that mean that you're open to sharing your seat?
Ooh, with somebody?
You
Shorty
know.
come sit on my lap. That's sitting down on the step.
In the Whitney Houston, I want to sit with somebody. No? Yes,
We have already talked about what roles we occupy. We'll inform y'all in a second.
We have indeed, but let's sort of kick off the conversation. I'm not even on drugs, I swear. To kick off the conversation this week, we are going to start with the beginning phases of a relationship, situationship.
No.
Relax.
JK.
Relax.
A ship.
Starting with where everybody is now, I think would be a good indicator to then rewind to talk about where everybody was prior to getting here. So,
Preach on.
we're going to start... Shut up. We're going to start with the segmented man over here who's looking for love in the love seat.
Not too segmented, man. Hey.
Looking for Let's start there. So when we talked
Step up from Bless.
before we when we talked before, I had talked about the categories that all four of us occupy. If you don't shut up. I am single and open at the moment.
Open. What does that mean? Let's unpack that. Welcome to therapy. Let's unpack. What is open?
Grab a glass.
Yeah, sure. No, we'll come back. We'll come back. Steven.
You breaking over there?
We try to ignore him.
The coaster ain't getting used tonight. I'm picking it back up.
Is that a metaphor?
This is really bad. And you went up for this.
I'm gonna let you sit over there a little bit longer. We're gonna talk to Steve. Steven, where are you?
Welcome back. What's going on in your life? Where's your heart?
My heart is with a woman. Obviously, I'm in a committed relationship, so there's that.
You know that song?
You know that song?
I don't know the lyrics. I know the
side of the couch.
Hey, all viewers, if you're watching if you're watching right now, comment below what that song is. Mine. I think it's belongs to Melly or something like that. It's T.
Are you singing Ronnie?
He's trying
Ted
to-
Ronnie. I ain't know the lyrics. There we go. Ted Ronnie. There we go.
I didn't get it till I heard him say Ronnie at the
That's
end.
what happened when you're the youngest on the couch. Okay, so
Okay.
you in love.
Yes.
Okay, so taken.
Oh, I'm single. I'm ready to mingle, baby. Let's go. On a serious note, I've had a little bit too much. I'm not on drugs either. I promise you guys.
I can't tell.
On a serious note,
Look, it's just water in my cup. I just be thirsty.
I'm newly single. I guess you can say so. I'm fresh. Yeah.
Is it new?
It's not new, really. It's about to be a year at this rate. It's
New-ish. Well, this year's been long,
but it's been a long year, but it's still
single and healing. Would you say?
Healing what? I think I'm healed. I think I'm healed.
Are you off the therapy couch?
I'm off the therapy. I still got a therapist. I pay her too much, but I'm off the therapy couch.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ready to mingle for real. I was just explaining to y'all today, like, I have been on a couple of dates since the relationship ended, and I'm like, this is so ghetto, like.
Hey, no.
How'd I go from y'all?
I can imagine.
How did I go from
How'd I go from her to y'all, I'll be looking like, what is this?
I pray to my God on today that they are not watching this episode.
Oh God! No, let me stop. Actually,
Baby, there's a whole camera in front of you.
That's only a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Not all of them.
The other two dates in particular were very, very respectable young women. I just didn't have the time. I don't have the time. I'm like, man,
I just want you to know,
it's time consuming.
they can't tell the difference between who you talking about.
Because you put your foot in your mouth all the time.
You know who you are. You said that Drake's.
Wait a minute, don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it.
The ones that know who they are, the real ones know who they are, because we still cool. We still homies. We still friends. So.
Tell me again.
Okay, in other news, or shall I say, breaking news.
Breaking news.
I have not been on that many dates, y'all. But
you know, the more you have to defend yourself on this,
it sounded so bad. I was like, wait, it sounds terrible.
I think it's fine.
Go on.
Now it's not breaking news no more.
All right.
That means something
Breaking news,
right.
my nigga. If your girl is sitting courtside in the basketball game. Okay, I'm done with the song outburst tonight. I promise y'all, I'm done now. Let's get to relationships. Because we have a very good...
We ain't even get to him yet.
We have good news, y'all, so...
That was gonna be my breaking news.
Oh, break it for us.
So now in other news.
Sir Simpkins.
Yes.
Back to you.
Yes, sir. I am recently engaged, so... Yeah, I know, right?
She put a ring on?
Shocker. No, as you can see, my pinky ring is still empty. I would like my pinky ring until I get my wedding ring. That is a whole nother conversation for another day. However, yes, I am recently engaged, so...
You asking all of us platforms to help us?
Everybody like the video at this moment.
If you never liked the video before, like it now.
Yes.
No, but yes. So, with that being said, as you can see, everyone is in different phases, even though Nosa doesn't know where he is right now. We are going to start from the beginning. So, let's rewind in time a little bit, right?
Yes.
To this... I just realized this is going to be bad because, like, technically two of you aren't rewinding. But you get the point. You get the metaphorical point. Yes, you get the metaphorical point.
Yeah.
Single and ready to mingle, or hoe in some instances, whatever. When you were in that phase, whatever that phase looked like for you in the beginning, what was your mindset? Were you thinking, yeah, I'm about to be out here, just running the streets, belonging to the streets, sleeping in the streets, cuddled with the streets.
Amok.
A kingpin of the streets. Okay, this nigga over here needs to help. I'm not doing this. I'm just trying to get him. He's not playing. That's the sad part.
It's all fun and games.
Hey, listen.
How were you tethered to the streets? No, sir.
Ooh, tethered.
And if so, what would have pulled you out? Did anything pull you out of the street? Shut up. At that time, I didn't think about that.
Did you pull out?
It's
all these innuendo. Hey, look.
Nobody wanted to say it.
I didn't mean. That's not what's fucking
PG rated. Come on.
At this point, we're in the R category.
We pushing R.
We're in the R category.
This is a strong PG-13.
It's fine. It's okay. Whatever. You get the point. We'll start with the man in the streets as it is.
I'm gonna just repent and make a Christian Mingle profile after this.
Y'all
trip.
That's your new
I think
man.
black people meats would be more fitting for the hairstyle.
Oh my god.
I tried black.
Mm.
We can get to that later. Mr. Streets himself.
Yes,
so,
the Streets.
Tell me more.
CEO
Put
of
up
the
in
streets.
my hood. That's the great song. Back to the Streets by Sweetie. But anyways, featured on episode.
Did you get paid for that show?
I need to know.
Featured on episode 8 of Sound Outside Radio. So check it out.
Oh, that's the point.
I knew there was something.
DJ I ain't got a girl to do that one yet, but I'll find one. So.
I'm sure you probably just talked a few of them off.
Earlier. God. I'm definitely not saying this. I'm not promoting this episode, y'all. Sorry. Anyway, so when I first, like I said, we said it's been a long year. Relationship ended.
Mm-hmm.
I had my little social media fast. If you guys remember, I was gone for like a month. It was great. I was reading hella books. I was just engulfed in myself.
Golf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reading vocabulary.
Look, you trying to show him you still educated. You ain't shit, but
You ain't shit, but I'm educated.
Okay, all right.
I know.
Golf us with your knowledge.
So at a certain point, I think after I started, like after my fourth therapy session, like so this was like maybe I don't know 3-4 months after a relationship. Yeah, it was summertime. I went to Chicago, had a great time that weekend. You guys know the stories. They're not gonna be repeated on camera, but that actually was like the first time that I started. I guess you wouldn't say dating some people or like looking to be back in the streets, but I wasn't like really. I didn't want to be, but like. Man, the DMs was popping.
Streets was calling you.
Streets was calling me. Like, man, we went out to brunch actually for a boy's birthday. Waitress gave me her number. It was so weird, like on like a piece of paper type of order. I'm like, this is a movie, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. Like, she could have just gave it to me, like said it out loud. But anyways, didn't really go nowhere with that. That was deaded really quick, honestly. Not by me but it was just like mutually just like it's just kind of whatever. So that I guess that was like the hardest part of that stage is like, do I really want to be like what I'm saying right now is still like, do I really want to be dating? Because this is so like ghetto. It's not it. And everybody that I was in a relationship with in the past was always somebody that I knew prior from a friendship or from a mutual friend. So now it's just like what I've been noticing is like if people slide in my DMs, it's just like I've been having to learn to just be like double tap because it's like I really don't know you as a person and I don't want to waste my time like trying to get to know you to be honest either. So
that's honest.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
And it's kind of crazy too. A lot of women are very straightforward. Didn't know that before. So
I mean, yeah. Especially if you get older.
I mean, I was in a relationship for a long time.
You go for what you want.
No, literally.
Or who you want.
I didn't think girls were sliding in DMs. I thought they was just
liking
pictures.
Women
I thought they was liking pictures and little subtle hits. Nah, they was. No.
It's got to be a picture from 50 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is that what the rule of thumb is?
I don't know the rules of all that.
I too don't know. But Donald will go to you. We'll shift and pivot.
What I know.
Donald's
You know the rules.
So being open now, how did we get to the road of being open? Because at one point we were very closed.
Oh, very much so.
The doors were locked.
It was detours, closed for construction.
All that. How did we open up a road very narrow to get to a destination?
How long did it take to fix the highway?
Yes.
Basically, that's
because Chicago potholes are real, and I know there's a couple.
They are. I'm still shutting down part of my highway, occasionally, but I turned 30.
Wait, can we? I was wondering, like, what happened at 30 that made Donald want to be like, I want to date because you're not a woman. Your eggs are not, struggling away. Women be like, what is happening, bro? What is going on?
Walk me through the rest of your statement.
So a lot of women.
I see you see me. Talk to me. What's good?
A lot of women, like, by the age of 30, like, the older you get, the less likely, the more difficult it is for you to have children. Okay. And, like, I don't know, like, so basically, like, my eggs they're not getting no more fertile now. Like, so what made you at 30? Because usually I hear that about women. It's
you're asking because you're hearing somebody says an age that things change because of a biological clock, of which I don't have a timer for, right?
I'm like, yeah. So you don't have a biological clock. I'm
not birthing any.
Yeah. So like, what changed
I'm not
for you?
medical anomaly.
Yeah, there we go. Much better.
Hey. So, as I try to make sense of that, there's a little thing called maturity, right? Not so much eggs, because I don't think I have the parts.
That's what I was like. I'm like, where did 30 come from? Like, dang.
Yeah. So,
but okay. So no eggs. Okay,
right?
That wasn't the determining factor.
They're not dry. Got it. Not a concern here.
Okay. Very moist. Got it.
I turned 30. I tell people, oh my god.
We can't air this episode. Partly because
all
It's happening. But you are definitely
I
getting
put
it.
effort into this here. We go ahead an episode.
What's happening?
This episode's got an R rating. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's not for kids.
I'm
Shit,
sorry.
NC-17 at this point.
I hope I can send this to my mama still. No, I turned 30. I feel like I'm matured. I have always been maturing, but we had talked a couple episodes ago about your 20s being a costume for adulthood. I feel like I am now into adulthood in every aspect of the word. I felt it before, but it's like I throw myself into my work. I put work first. I don't put myself first. And I'm like, I told y'all I don't really like people for real. I'm generally annoyed by having somebody like.
You also told me you were a good liar, but they're saying
in that space. I was. Well, I still am, but I don't lie no more.
okay,
but emotional walls. They was built up. I let them go. Okay, so I'm matured. So my emotional intelligence and emotional capacity and desire for the future and open to love.
Were emotional walls up because of like past trauma or just because
therapy?
That's good.
My therapist. She's been working on me. She's been working on me.
Let's go there.
Past trauma or just because like you just were like worried about other things in life and your emotions were put in other places that were more suitable for you.
Both. I feel like but not, well, I ain't gonna say not trauma because of the other person, but more so because of me. But I also am usually on a cycle to where I don't really like somebody for like 2 years. So I go into this like hibernation of connection where I'm like, I like you, and then like a year and a half, 2 years go by, and then it's like, oh, I like somebody else. Everybody in between, and it's like, ooh, please stop talking to me. But that's not a way to find somebody. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me.
It's kind of scary, yeah.
It is. So I matured. I opened up to the world. So hey, let's see what happens.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
Yes, there's a lot of growth in that.
It is,
because
if y'all knew I was maybe still am a piece of work.
Yeah, I mean, isn't everybody under construction?
Pretty much.
Okay, next question and last question, I guess, for the single brethren over here.
Read me then, Ruben.
Before we go on ahead to these.
Okay, yeah.
The Lover Boys.
Certified.
Do you feel like during that time you had like the whole like focusing on me phase? Like, like
Why did you say it like that? You could have said
because like I don't know, it just came out that way. But go on.
Is that good? Some wine stuff?
Listen,
did I have no, absolutely. And after my most recent situation
endeavor. Let's just call it an endeavor.
It was
because you went on the journey.
I did,
but it did not pan out. It was an endeavor.
Nah, this was actually, it wasn't an official relationship, but this I got dropped, which was new to me. I mean, not to like sound cocky or nothing like that, but I
know who we're talking about.
Talk about it off camera.
Let's go. We'll talk about it off camera. That's fine.
2017.
I know who we're talking about. Okay, continue.
Yeah.
I just like to be in the know.
And
please, this is court.
Yeah, shit like that dropped.
So that was your phase of like you saying like get like,
that was like let me focus on me because I had finally opened back up to somebody.
Oh yeah.
And it was like door closed, not for you.
Okay.
And so
it kind of hurts when the door's closed in your face. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you blindsided.
As opposed to you doing it to other people.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have for real. I've always been in a position where like I've been in control. So like that was the first time that it happened to me in probably like a long ass time, like high school, and it don't really count. So yeah. But hey.
So would this be why your 2-year window is your 2-year window? Because if it was indeed the later half of 2017, if not 2018.
Yeah, so I'm out on brand to be looking for somebody.
Oh man, this guy's going through
also,
maintenance.
Hey, I shot my shot a couple months ago.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that.
So
were you Steph Curry or were you Shaq?
So you just gonna expose the man like that? What if you?
Okay, we cannot go into it then.
No, sir.
It was just.
Let's just say I plead the fifth on that. Right?
On that note, actually, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get him together, and then we will come back to discuss with Steven and myself, I suppose. BRB, and we're back.
We'll see if Nosa has act right this go around. I doubt it, but okay.
Bro, our choice of wording this episode is horrible. Why use the phrase act right?
I don't think of a scene. Okay, fuck.
I'm gonna stay quiet for the rest of this episode. We're gonna go to Steven.
It's your turn.
No, we're gonna go to Steven. We're gonna start here with the man who has built his sandcastle.
We built sandcastles.
See? Since we're talking about fucking references.
I kept it a little.
I was thinking a little more ghetto. I was just about to bust out Keisha Cole.
Anyway,
All right, who you loving on?
this stage that
How'd
you're
y'all get to be there?
in a relationship.
Yes.
Like,
How did you
How did
get
we
to
get to be here?
being in a committed and stable relationship?
Yeesh.
Which is wonderful, by the way.
It is wonderful. That's
black love.
That's a pretty. It's actually a loaded question, but
Then unpack it.
I'm gonna try.
Take the
But
bullets out the gun.
yeah, I'm gonna unload, unpack, do all that,
All that.
everything.
Mm.
But I think for me, it's funny. I've actually always been a relationship minded person, to a fault usually, like early on. So like high school, a lot of college. I wouldn't call it dependence, but I was always desired to be in a relationship because my idea was that I always thought it would be cool to build with a person. I didn't want to necessarily build by myself and then have somebody not benefit, but like not be a part of that process.
You thought about that young?
Yeah. It's a long story. It has to do with my parents, their marriage, subsequent divorce, what have you.
Okay.
Nonetheless,
Well,
nonetheless,
We're talking about.
we'll come back to
Identity.
that.
yeah. Nonetheless, that's where I
The
was at.
therapy notes are here.
Yeah, for sure. So there was actually, I want to say it was 2018. There was a very pivotal time and situation where, again, I was probably the closest. Actually, I'll backtrack a little bit. In the fall of 2017, I got out of a 2.5 year relationship. It was a mutual breakup. But it was, I want to say it was needed, not because it was anything wrong with the person. Like she's great, but at the time, like we weren't the best for each other. And I think what hurt about a lot of that relationship was that I think we were aware of that and like tried to make it work, and it didn't so much make it worse, but it just put more of a strain. Mm-hmm. So after that was like the first time really since early high school, to be completely honest, that I was like completely free with no attachment and like serious connection to a person. So that was kind of like the beginning of my single phase. I was single, but I wasn't necessarily in a whole phase yet. I was just in my single phase.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there's a distinguishing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Everybody's got a
Actually,
phase.
let's
Some people
Yeah,
just
so-
last longer
okay.
than others.
Yeah, so the single phase was first like me just kind of being me being used to and me being used to like the idea of not being with somebody and coming to terms with that. Because at first it seems great, but then you realize like, damn, like how do you be with yourself? Like what does that look like? Like that's it was mad weird. I'm like, I'm not used to thinking just for me. It wasn't something that I was accustomed to. So that was something that happened. And then it was a situation where I met somebody and like things clicked, and I honestly thought at the time that like that was gonna be the relationship. Like I thought that was gonna be it. And long story short, we weren't on the same page and just both in transitional times. But the way that situation ended affected me more than the fact that it ended in general. Because I felt like it was, at the time, I felt like I wasn't given a shot, like to be supportive or, be there. So most of my growth came from that situation, because that situation ended and really kind of officially was over in like the middle of the summer. And this is like summer 2018, so 2 years ago. And that was the first time I legit sat with myself and was just like, all right, like you need to figure out what you want, what you like, what you want a relationship to look like. And it was easy because I was in St. Louis for an internship and I was like ducked away. So like I wasn't around friends 24/7 and I wasn't lonely or anything, but I had time to really just sit with me, be with me. I don't know. I binge watched a lot of Netflix that summer. Played a lot of video games, but it was just me like enjoying time with myself that I hadn't done.
It's important.
It was, and I didn't realize how important until that following fall, where that's eventually when I met Patricia. Not met her, but we started talking, and
With the name drop.
Right.
and
That was the first name drop.
Brownie points.
But no, it was and it was one of those situations that really, really caught me off guard because I didn't want nor expect that to be it, like the thing. I wasn't expecting it at all, and then when I kind of realized it could be that, I was like, yeah, it's kind of scary as hell. I don't really know. I don't really know because yikes, this is. But I also knew that like the next relationship I was going to be in was going to be extremely serious. Don't know if it was going to be my last, but I knew that was going to be my mindset going into it. And I just wanted to be very sure. So I definitely still like in that time frame, like I definitely still I would say made mistakes, and there's a lot of situations I still didn't handle well in the midst of going from like the single phase to like more of a whole phase. Like I was more open to the idea of like just having fun and embracing that time.
Important as well.
But then it is important. Like it's important to have, because for me, what I noticed was through the majority of high school and college, like I didn't date. I didn't talk to multiple people. So when I was dealing with these people for a long periods of time, I only knew them. And so when I would take what I only knew from that person for a long period of time to the next person, it wasn't, it didn't, and I didn't know nothing else. So that's all I knew how to respond, support, whatever. And so that's why that time was really important. But it was also in the midst of that time, I had this revelation that was like, there was a moment where I knew we could be done. And she could have walked away, and she would have had every right to do so. And the thought, and the fact that I wasn't okay with that thought, and the fact that not seeing if it was going to work out would hurt worse than her like just walking away in that moment and me not doing nothing. That's when I knew like, damn, it might be time to kind of really consider things, figure this out. And that's kind of how we, got, to the relationship. I still needed time. And the one thing I tell her this all the time as well, but I appreciate the fact that although I know it was difficult for her, she was patient with me and me being ready to be in a relationship. Like as much as like she wanted it to happen and felt like we were essentially doing everything for that to be the case and to put the title on it, she was patient enough to understand that I wanted to make sure I was at a place where I was fully ready. Because again, I knew what I wanted the relationship to look like. So I knew once it happened that I was going to be full-fledged in the mindset of building, not so much thinking long-term, but thinking for both of us in the sense of what does this look like if this is going to be that. And I didn't want to waste time with that mindset. So that's how we got, where we are now. We couple months over a year, it's like 14, 15, something like that.
Don't guesstimate. She gonna be watching.
It's 16. It's 16.
She gonna be like, Stephen.
We just had the anniversary.
16 months. So, but that's how I got to where I'm at. It's a long road. It's a long ass journey, but it's worth it when you got that person. So
What's crazy is that
right.
They're actually the opposite. The couple people are the opposite. Like he probably is more like relates to you on some things, just like as far as not liking people for real. Like And I'm really like me and Stevie on the same. We really are the same person.
But the crazy part is if you blend that together, now you got me. Because hearing all of that is just corny as hell. Like my heart over here smiling and shit. Because
romantic.
And on that day,
not me. Clarify. No, but that like confusion, that tension, and that patience. Something about that now just sounds very attractive, and it's just like, okay, damn, the world is shifting.
It sounds like a headache to me.
No, migraine, and I got my medicine in the cabinet. You feel me? But I was hearing you say that, and I'm curious to know: do you consider yourself a serial dater?
I was gonna say serial monogamous. That's what my cousin called me.
I wouldn't say it's serial, but I think that it was. I think for me, I don't want to unpack it too much if we're gonna do it in part 2. But a lot of me feeling the need to be in a relationship was based in what I felt like my mother deserved.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what. Hold on. Put a pin in that. And that's what we said next episode.
Yeah.
It's a lot to unpack.
That is going in the therapy notebook, goddamn.
But that's real stuff. A lot of people base their relationships based off of like either what their parents lacked or what they saw their parents what they had. So and I was talking to one friend about like I know we joke about like, you know, seeing Ready to Mingle, and I was telling her like this is the group chat actually with, you know, Pat and Erica and all my friends and all that stuff. So neither of them were the ones that were talking, but some other individuals we were talking. I had to clarify. We were talking, and I was just like why don't you just why don't you just find like, by yourself? Or like, why are you going into every situation thinking like, oh, this is the one, like that's the one? And it's based off of her parents like not working, and so she's always looking for that one, like kind of guy to treat her, you know, and make it work. So that's and for me, I didn't understand that. I'm like,
that's a dangerous.
My parents work
very
so. I'm just chilling.
So the most interesting initial unpack is going to be our fair pumpkin right here.
Yeah, a lot of questions. Why marriage? JK, not our fair pumpkin.
And he really tried to slide that in.
You know what?
I like this. This is from Pratt. It's from
it is from Pratt. Yeah.
Support black businesses.
Yeah.
I want my next episode.
Okay, great.
So wedding bells. Somebody.
Yes, fairy godmother.
Somebody from No Shade. Your background of people of not wanting to connect and being very closed off and different things like that. Where did you change and blossom into this wonderful carriage?
Certified,
not this carriage.
Not just lover boy, certified.
To put a ring on it. You've been with somebody for a long time, and now you're about to be with them.
Look, use a fiance now. Use a fiance now.
Yeah. Woo, Chile, let me tell you. First of all, that was shade. However, we're on the path. It's fine. I'm gonna let that go.
Let it go.
That's what I had to do to some folks to get here.
Yikes.
But no, seriously, I think unlike what Steven had said a few minutes ago, what's interesting and something that Nosa pointed out that I didn't think about, I don't like people, but I enjoy getting to know folks. So it's a very interesting conundrum in and of itself.
The vocabulary is popping this episode.
Let me tell you.
The
degrees are
on this couch.
Right here. But I think every relationship up until now every relationship and situationship that I had been in up until now, because some things do not count as relationship, I didn't necessarily seek out. It came to me, and it seemed like an attractive offer at the time. And so the curiosity in me was like, oh, you know, let's just see where this goes, right?
That fine print will get you, though.
Not the fine.
Let me tell you. But you don't read
the terms and
the terms and conditions.
Read the back.
And that small print will fuck you up every time. Every time. But even like, I'm not even gonna count like the middle school, youngest, like high school, I think was interesting because even then, doing the dating, doing the relationships, I had a very specific type of person that I think I was attracted to, and there was specific things and habits that I fell into. There was a lot of, I enjoyed the secrecy of some things. I enjoyed being able to move and do as I pleased, given that even when I was in a relationship, sometimes I didn't have to answer to anybody. I was not anybody's property. Nobody belonged to me. If we wanted to call it quits the next day, we could call it quits the next day. I knew what I wanted, and only one person back then was able to fulfill what I wanted. But because of a transition phase in life, we split and never looked back. Going into college and having the freedom to be out here in these streets. It was a lot. It was like a whole new world. Like that shit was real. Like it was real, right?
So many fishes in this sea.
Literally.
Some people in the streets. Some people are the streets. Some people are parades.
Some people didn't even know they were in the streets. But they were the streets.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I think I wasn't looking for anything, but several things came and found me, especially in the beginning freshman year or so, and young and impressionable, and it was like college is about getting bitches and like doing this, doing that, and the third. And if you can shut up, and if you can have these experiences, it just works. And so I kept with the idea of I could do whatever I want. I had secrets and things, like moving in the shadows became fun in a sense, and I didn't want to give up the fun. And when an opportunity presented itself to give up the fun, I went in on it. Ended terribly twice.
Twice same person, twice two situations.
Twice same person, two different types of situations each time. And at that point, which would have been maybe my junior year, and it was my junior year because I distinctly remember it because it was after my birthday. I was like, relationships, talking to people, no, we're done. We're finished here. And I spent the rest of my college career doing what I wanted to do, being with whoever I wanted to. I was living, right? But I graduated.
That's when you started living.
That's when you really started.
But when I graduated, I realized, I don't know what the switch was. I couldn't tell you where it flipped. I got bored.
Yeah.
It gets boring and draining to juggle and do all these different things. It's not like you're lying to anybody, because technically you don't have to lie to them because you owe them nothing. But to yourself, it's like you're giving these pieces away, or you're only giving half this narrative, and you lose yourself in the shuffle.
It's a routine cycle of empty.
And it's just like, well, what the fuck? So when I graduated, I took the second half of my senior year, the first year out for the most part of that time to really just focus on me, build my money, see what adulting looked like and everything. And so I, would flirt passively with some people, but I wasn't thinking anything of it.
Yeah.
And then when I slid into Kimmy's DMs in
the second name drop,
like May, I believe.
We're in relationships. It makes sense to name drop. Clearly, you don't need to be named
You don't need to name drop nobody.
You definitely don't.
Whoa. You need to make sure that you understand that they know who's who when you refer to who you just referred to. But
some phone calls.
He about to send out some cease and desist.
Drake played.
I hate tonight. All right.
But when I DM'd Kimmy, it wasn't. It was like passive flirting that started to pick up a little traction. I said, okay, let's see what goes. And then she left me cold, like literally cold. Maybe an hour worth of a conversation in the DMs, and she was gone. So I was like, okay. I mean, I wasn't upset about it, so I kept doing what I was doing. And then she came back around in October on my alphaversary and slid in my DMs and started a conversation. And clearly, the rest is now history. But even in our relationship, we were in two different phases. Yeah. And this was something we didn't recognize until after the fact, right? When she left me on red, even though I didn't think about it and I didn't have a problem with it, she took the time to tell me she wasn't ready for a relationship. She couldn't have been who I thought I needed at the time because she was still busy trying to fix herself. And she had things that she wanted to do, and she was juggling and doing other things that she needed to figure out. And she didn't want to bring me into that. And to this day, that appreciates 100% appreciate. And I don't know if she would have, like, what that would have looked like now. So
everything
clearly it worked out. But even in the relationship in our beginning phases, I asked her to be my girlfriend in January, maybe January 12th. And she didn't respond. She was freaking out. She didn't know what to say. And I said, it's okay. Like, I had to have a conversation with her. I'm in a different phase of life where I kind of know what I want and what I want it to look like because I've done all these things. If you're not there, that's okay. We can keep talking and figure it out. Fast forward to February, then she became my girlfriend. She's the one who said I love you first. It took me some time because there were still walls.
Again, different phases.
Different phases in a relationship. And it took it took time to really get on the same page. And I think people forget you don't start a relationship and you're all magic
absolutely not.
The fuck no. You are two different people coming from two different backgrounds with two different sets of trauma. You don't know really what the other person is bringing for real until you get into it. And so for me, that's when things had to be figured out of what, and there, I mean, we're not perfect to this day, but at the end of the day, there's only one person that I can currently foresee myself fighting to keep and fighting for and fighting quote unquote with for the rest of my life, which is then and when the ring happened.
Okay. So, at what moment, was it a certain moment when you clicked man, I'm going to marry this woman?
I knew I was going to marry her, and I told somebody, because somebody else just asked me this recently too. I knew I was going to marry her before we were in a relationship because there were some things I needed to get off of my chest before I could date anybody, and this was just in the phase of life that I was. And she didn't bat an eye, she didn't blink, she didn't do anything. She was there, she was 100% supportive, and I said, you know what?
It's the one, Lord.
Sometimes it be like that. Honestly, truly, you be having it be small tests that sometimes you don't even realize they test. You throw something out there, you see, okay, you got that, huh? You wrote that. You good. Okay. No shaking it? All right, okay.
That's why, one is why I'm single. That's why I only date my friends, because I feel like you have to be
a certain level of comfortability or just awareness.
I statements, therapy, sorry. I feel that you have to have a solid friendship relationship before you date somebody. 100%. So I don't cold date, which is probably why I go through this
2-year
hibernation
don't like people.
Yeah, so it's just I gotta see something in you that I'm attracted to and then move forward. So the fact that you had that and knew at that moment was yep, she a keeper.
Well, that's why I said also when I said I stopped just entertaining people DMs or whatever because I don't really know you, but I said I've only dated my friend, or you were a friend of a friend, type ordeal. So it's very real. It's a risky game, but it paid off for you.
It is a risky game, let me tell you. But I want to talk about some more risk, some more building, some more sandcastles that may or not still be building or washed away. Which is why, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with the second half of this episode because there's no way everyone's not getting off this couch without a little therapy session, and I kept my notebooks. So we will see you guys in part 2. Thanks for watching this episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and then go ahead and tune into the next episode.
Yes, sir.